In this tutorial, I will show you how to utilize Planning Center resources. At any time, feel free to skip around this video using the chapter markers in the description. Resources is designed to help you track and approve what rooms and resources you can use for specific events. You can reserve anything from rooms such as the Life Cafe and Empowerment Room to microphones and tables. The home screen for resources will show you the master calendar. This is a list of all the events that are already scheduled at the church. To create your event, you can do it one of two ways. You can go to the actual date of where your event is going to be on, and right above there you'll see where it has a little plus sign that says new. You just click there, or you can go up here to the top right and just click new event. Now I do have to create our worship team rehearsals for the rest of the year, so I'll go ahead and create that. There's a lot I have to put into it, so it should be able to show you a lot of different options in creating your event. So first things first, you can add a description, and then you can add a tag as well if we have one available for it, which for our worship team we do. Then you want to make sure you have the correct date selected. For us, it's always on Tuesdays, so the first upcoming one will be February 12th. And then up here, it kind of just gives you a little description of what's happening down here. So it says Tuesday, February 12th, 2019 at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So ours is actually from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can say if it's going to be overnight or not. And if your event repeats, you just select right here and say every other, every third. And then for us, we repeat every Tuesday. You can say once every month, so that'll just give me the first Tuesday of every month. But we do it every single week. And I'm going to go ahead and say forever. So once this is all done, also make sure you have the correct event owner. You might be creating the event, but somebody else might be in charge of the overall event of whatever it is. So if that's the case, you can select whoever that person is. Most of the time, it'll probably just be yourself like it is in this case. You say create, and now our event is created. So all I've done so far is put on the calendar that there is an event going on, which is our worship team rehearsal. I haven't reserved any rooms. I haven't reserved any resources, such as microphones or spaces such as the Pulse Center. So that's what I want to do next. Always double check to make sure that this information is correct. Every Tuesday from 6 to 9 p.m. beginning this upcoming Tuesday, which is the 12th. If you made a mistake there, you can always just hit reschedule. Reschedule all future instances on and after, or take me to this specific one instead, this one date. So if I said reschedule there, then I could change. So let's say I accidentally said 5 p.m. before, and I meant to say 6 p.m. So this is where you can go ahead and go in and change that. I'm going to cancel out of here. And now I'm going to add the rooms that we need. So there's two rooms we need for our worship team rehearsals. There's the main sanctuary and there's the Pulse sanctuary. If you click rooms, you'll see that there's a lower and an upper level. So let's click the lower level to find the sanctuary. And you come down here and you see main sanctuary. If there's anything that's kind of grayed out or has this little triangle and exclamation point icon next to it, that means that that room is already being used and scheduled for something else, so it's unavailable. So I'm going to grab main sanctuary. You click it and you'll grab it right over here. If you have any additional notes, you can type it. And so now it's scheduled, but it's still pending. This little orange dot means it's pending. If it's approved, it'll be green. If it's declined for any reason, it'll be red. And you'll notice that since we dragged the main sanctuary over there, that it's also grayed out. So it's unavailable for anybody else to try to book it until my event is either approved or declined. You can also click on early childhood if you need any specific rooms in there. The other room that I said we needed was the Pulse sanctuary, which is on the upper level. And if you look over at Pulse area, you have the Pulse Lounge and the Pulse Sanctuary. So I'm going to go ahead and drag Pulse Sanctuary over here. Again, if there's any specific notes, you can add them here. As far as tables and chairs and room setup, there's a whole other section that will get into all that. So you don't necessarily have to put that information in here. We'll say next. Then there are a couple of questions it's going to ask you. Some of the rooms will require you to answer these questions regarding chairs, tables, and media. Do you need chairs for this event? If yes, please be sure to add which type of chairs from the resources category, which I'll show you how to do. Note the default chairs for this room are the black folding chairs. So do we need chairs for this event? Yes, we do. Do you need tables for your event? If yes, please be sure to add which type of tables from the resources and categories. I'm going to say no. Do you have any media needs for your event? If yes, please be sure to add which type of media from the resources. And again, I'm going to say yes there because we will need recording, we'll need microphones, we'll need a keyboard. So after I do all that, I say save. So now my event is created and the 2 rooms that I have are both pending. And you'll see here also that the Pulse Sanctuary is now also unavailable for anybody else to add. So if you tried adding it, it says this resource is already booked for this event. Make sure you book your events as far enough in advance so that you can be sure to reserve whichever rooms and resources you need. Now that we have our rooms reserved, we are going to reserve our resources. Click over here on resources. You'll see these categories. This might grow as we add more things to it. So for now, kitchen items, all we have is food warmers, but we might have more things later on. Media resources. This is a longer list. This one's a little bit more specific. So if you have microphones for specific rooms, such as the Sanctuary or Route 56, if you need audio personnel or lighting personnel or video personnel, let's say your event is outside and you need portable speakers, maybe on the patio. Let's say you need an audio recording. Let's say you need to make sure that there's video display, such as the projector is on in 56, or you want the portable flat screen TV that we have in the children's wing. This is where you reserve all of that. And it's very important that when you click and drag it, you're dragging it into the correct room that you have over here. So we're going to take the microphones from the main sanctuary, drag them right here. Again, if you need any notes, you can put them there. How many mics will you need? You can have up to 8, which we use all 8 for our rehearsals. And I'll say create. And just so you know, there's no save button on this. The second that I say create there, or with the room reservation, it's automatically created and starting to send those notifications to whoever our operations or media directors are so that they can approve it. I'm also going to grab microphones from Pulse, and we'll say that we just need, we only need 4 up there. This is where we do our vocal rehearsal, so only a couple of us will use a microphone. Say create. We will also need an audio personnel. We don't need a lighting or video. Lighting doesn't mean that you want the lights on. That's if you actually need a specific kind of lighting atmosphere. So for example, for a gala event, there's a lot of times there might be a lot of blues and greens or purples or something very specific. That's when you would add a lighting personnel. So next, we also need an audio recording. So I'm going to click and drag that over to the main sanctuary. And then this is a required question. How would you prefer your recording? USB, CD, uploaded directly to the network, or no preference? We usually do ours by USB. So as far as media resources, that's all we'll really need. If you click on miscellaneous, you can see for cables, if you need extension cables, if you need a keyboard. So I'm going to drag keyboard over to Pulse because there's one keyboard up there that we use in particular. So I just want to make sure we make a note of that. Let's say for your event you want a Spotify playlist created, or you have one of your own. You can drag that over here. And it said, do you have your own Spotify playlist? Your 2 answers are yes, I will be contacting the media and or worship directors with more information, or no, I would like a playlist to be created for my event, in which will help you get that situated. But I don't need that right now. And if you need a podium, if you need the large whiteboard or the small whiteboard, you can add those here. And then if you click tables and chairs, our last category that we have right now, you'll see all the different options for tables and chairs. This number right here will let you know how many of those chairs are still available. In the main sanctuary, we do use a couple of the balcony chairs. That way people don't have to stand the entire rehearsal. How would you like the chairs set up? I'm going to say C notes. How many we'll need? Let's say 6. We'll say chairs on the lower platform. And then I'll show you the different options that we have here. You can do rows with no aisles, 1 aisle, 2 aisles. You can do a U-shape. You can do them in a circle, so if you're doing small groups in a bigger room. If you have tables, you can say you want them around the tables. Just make sure you know which type of table it's going to be. Or if you don't really mind how they're going to be set up, you can say no specific request. So for ours, we'll say see others and notes, and I already typed it up there. If you selected shape circle, please state how many circles. So again, if you're doing small groups and you want 6 different groups of however many chairs you're going to do. Let's say, so if you wanted 60 chairs in 6 circles with 10 chairs per circle, that's how you would state that. Let me go ahead and say this is going to be 6 again, and then we don't need an answer there. We also need to add chairs to the main sanctuary. We're going to add about 20. How do you want the chairs set up? Say rows with one aisle. Create. And then we also have a table that we use in the main sanctuary. It's usually either a 6-foot rectangle or an 8-foot rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and say 6-foot rectangle. We only need one of them. How do you want the table set up? Again, you can do it in rows, 1, 2, 3 rows. You can do it in U-shape. No specific request. We'll say other. So we'll say lower level, stage left by the stage entry. And then do you need tablecloths? And we'll say no. If you do need tablecloths, just make sure you go to tablecloths and you add however many of which type or which color that you would like. If you go up here and click this little back arrow, it'll show you in this area what's approved. So right now, since I just created it and we're kind of after hours, so nothing's probably going to be approved until tomorrow or maybe the next day. And if you back out to the main calendar, your event will still show up on here. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily approved. I know this green dot's a little confusing. That's because our tag for worship is green. So that's not an approval dot. That's just our tag dot. If I click on that and then say show details, again, it takes us back to this page where it says nothing is approved so far. And that's how you create an event using Planning Center resources. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.